And now we're joined by Mr. Trump's advisor, former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani. Thank you for coming in again,
Hi,
Mr.
George.
Mayor.
Good morning.
So what's your response to this story?
My response is he's a genius. I mean, the reality is absolute genius. I mean, the man in The Art of the Deal, this is described. First of all, we're talking about 26 years ago. Perfectly legal. We should get that straight immediately. This is a perfectly legal application of the tax code. And he would have been a fool not to take advantage of it. Not only that, he would have probably breached his fiduciary duty to his investors, to his business. You have an obligation when you run a business to maximize the profits. And if there is a tax law that says, I can deduct this, you deduct it. If you fail to deduct it, people can sue you. Your investors can sue you.
You say it shows he's a genius. Here's what Robbie Moog from the Clinton campaign says. He says it reveals the colossal nature of Donald Trump's past business failures. He apparently got to avoid paying taxes for nearly 2 decades while tens of millions of working families paid theirs.
Okay. Well, first of all, that's not clear that it's a... In other words, what was the loss? 1.8 billion?
916 million.
960 million. Well, last year, for example, he made $625 million. So if he had 1 year in which he made $1 billion, he would have wiped out the loss carry forward in 1 year. So it's unlikely that he carried forward for 18 years. That's with the amount of income he was making. Second, every great man has had failures. And in The Art of the Deal, he explains that. Churchill was thrown out of office twice. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple and had nothing. The reality is, this man, 26 years ago, had some failures, and then he built an empire. I'd like that working for me for the United States. This is a genius at how to take advantage of legal remedies that can help your company survive and grow. I want a man who's a genius at figuring out how to take this country that's moving in the wrong direction, where we've had a basically jobless recovery, where we've had growth of less than 2% for 2 years. That's pathetic. Don't you think a man who has this kind of economic genius is a lot better for the United States than a woman, and the only thing she's ever produced? There's a lot of work for the FBI checking out her emails.
You say it shows that he's a genius, but Mr. Trump himself in the past has criticized people for not paying taxes. He has this tweet from 2012. Half of Americans don't pay income tax despite crippling government debt. And even in this campaign, he's taken on hedge fund managers who have avoided taxes. Let's listen.
The hedge fund guys are getting away with murder. They make a fortune. They pay no tax. It's ridiculous, okay?
I know people that are making a tremendous amount of money and paying virtually no tax, and I think it's unfair.
So why is this fair?
Well, whether it's fair or not, if I run a company, and I do, right, and there are 5 deductions that are available to me, and I don't take them, the people who invested in my company can sue me for not doing that. And number 2, my obligation in that circumstance is to make the maximum amount of money and to save my company from the maximum amount of damage. He was a genius in being able to do that. Went down, came all the way back up. America needs a turnaround right now, and Donald Trump is a turnaround artist. Everyone believes, 67%, we're moving in the wrong direction. Nobody believes that Hillary Clinton can turn America around. It's going to be Obama 2, Obama 3, whatever you want to call it. Higher taxes, less jobs, 1% growth. We put our head down and we're just another country, oh, GG. This man is a man who knows what it feels like to fail and then how to come back from that.
The statement from the Trump campaign doesn't say that he paid federal income taxes over those 18 years, did he?
I haven't seen his tax. I'm not his lawyer. I haven't seen his tax returns. I would suspect that he did, because that kind of loss that you're looking at, given the income that I saw in his financial disclosure form, would say to me that he probably paid off that carry forward very, very quickly. Look, I have clients with carry forwards that are twice that, 3 times that. This is part of what you do in business. If you didn't do it, you would be sued.
But doesn't this increase the pressure on Mr. Trump to release those taxes? No presidential candidate in a generation has not released the taxes.
Well, you know what it does do? It actually suggests maybe why he doesn't. Because nobody understands the tax code, and then they use it as if there's something wrong here. This was perfectly legal, and he was in a box. If he didn't do it, he'd get sued.
So it suggests he doesn't want people to know that he didn't pay federal taxes.
If you give me your money, right? If you give me your money, and I start a business, and there are 5 deductions available to me, and I say, well, I'm not going to take advantage of 2 of them because it may make me look bad when I'm running for president or something else, then you're going to sue me for not taking advantage of that deduction. And that is what happened here. And it shows you what a genius he is, how smart he is, how intelligent he is, how strategic he is. I want that working for me. I want to see if he can produce these kinds of results for us.
But he's not going to produce the returns?
He's going to produce the returns when the audit is finished so that everything is clarified so that people can't misinterpret what he did.
But the returns from 2002 to 2008 are not under audit right now.
But remember, this man has been audited every year. Never once has a criminal charge been brought against him. Never once has he been accused of violating the law. He understands the law, he operates within it. And he also understands, on the other side, how he can get sued if he doesn't take advantage of these benefits. I would rather have a person who understands the economy and is a turnaround artist than a person that is a failure, basically, as Secretary of State.
Let's move on to last night. We showed in the piece earlier, Mr. Trump mocking Hillary Clinton in that bout with pneumonia, also questioning whether she was loyal to President Clinton in their marriage. Is that a smart strategy?
I didn't see last night, so I'm not sure about that. The reality is that she, at the end of the debate, and I think Saturday Night Live last night captured it beautifully when she said, "Oh, and by the way," and then she mentioned the woman's name, the model's name, and then she made it appear as if Lester Holt had brought it up. She had obviously been programmed to bring that up. So But
Trump took the bait, didn't he?
She brings up this woman. This woman goes back 20 years or so. She has a very unfortunate past. She was a driver at a bank robbery. Never mind all about her. But the reality is that was something that she brought up. She brought that into this. She brought personal life into this.
And he brought it up every single day since then. I'm asking, was that smart?
I can't tell you whether it was smart or not. I think she's the one who introduced it, and we'll find out by who wins the election whether it was smart or not. But I don't think I would have stood by for a personal attack. You want to bring personality into it, Hillary, and your husband has a history that he has, and you have a history of attacking the women that the only women victims she doesn't believe are the ones who say they were victimized by her husband. And we have, I don't know, 20, 30, 40,
You know, whenever this has
50?
come up in campaigns in the past, you go back to 1998, during impeachment, House Republicans pursuing it, they lose seats. Your own advisors, when you were thinking about running for Senate, looked into bringing this up in the Senate race and said it would have been a bad idea.
Well, you know, I think it is a bad idea to focus on President Clinton's personal life. That's his personal life. It is not a bad idea to point out her hypocrisy. Her hypocrisy, if she's attacking Donald Trump about how he deals with women, well, then we have to respond by how she deals with women, which is to take money from governments that kill women, take money from governments that stone women, take money from governments that have women who can't drive cars. Not just money, millions and tens of millions of dollars from countries in which women are treated like property and killed when they get raped. And so now, basically, it's don't lecture me, Hillary, on feminism because you're a phony.
You suggested earlier in this week that Donald Trump might not maybe shouldn't go to the second debate.
Did I really?
You did, because you said it wasn't fair. But is he going to go?
Of course, yeah. No, there's no question he's going to the second debate. If I said anything to suggest the opposite, that is not what I intended. I probably wanted to point out that I thought the first debate was extremely unfair because the only time Lester Holt ever interrupted to correct people was to correct Donald Trump. He was wrong about stop and frisk, and everyone acknowledges now that he was wrong about it. Stop and frisk, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is constitutional.
Just not the way it was being done in New York at the time.
But that happens all the time. I mean, if a person does a home invade, a search of your home and doesn't follow the Constitution, that's unconstitutional. That doesn't make it unconstitutional. That makes it unconstitutional as applied. Hillary Clinton knows that. Okay, she fudged it. Lester Holt didn't know it. And he shouldn't pretend to know it. Now, she misrepresented about TPP. She had said it was a gold standard. And she said, no, I only suggested it was, and I wasn't really, and she had made a very definitive statement. He never corrected her. Why?
So Mr. Trump will be there next Sunday.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.